Good evening and welcome to Sinister Inclinations, the horror show.
Or good day, depending on the time of day that they have watched this. Could be evening.
Spot. First of all, what I want to say this evening is thank you to our viewers, Terry's wife and my aunt,
Yes.
For your continued support. And does Rosie actually watch all the way through?
Yes, actually she does, and she makes comment about it, and she actually was going to go send some mail in this time, but she only sent me.
Okay, well, we're hoping that as time goes on, we'll get more than 2 viewers. Fingers crossed.
Really, yes, fingers, toes crossed, and everything. But as you know, Jim, 666 is the number of the beast, as we all know. But it's also the 6th show of Sinister Inclinations. The 6th show. Last one was the show with 5 fingers.
If Dave makes 6
Yeah.
like this, then that would be 666.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought about that line all day. I said I'm going to use that. And we had to introduce the numerical number. First season, 6th show. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
To my right, as usual, is Terry Sherwood.
Hi.
And to my far right is, what can I say about Mr. Trainer? Yeah, I forgot your name. A special effects man for many years. If you've seen things like Blade 2, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Mania, Fargo, Hell on Wheels, Winona Earp, you've seen his work. This is Dave Trainer. He's
Welcome to the show.
he's a connoisseur of earlier culture, a wicked martini maker, and it's a pleasure to have you here, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, haven't seen you in since
A couple days.
a couple days. Yeah, wow. How have you been?
Good.
Good. Yeah. So we'll keep this informal. We'll get into the special effects here a bit. The first question I wanted to ask you would be, I decided on the way here while I was rocking out to a little bit of David Soul that I would ask you the same.
Mostly do.
Mostly. Yeah.
Peaches and Herb wasn't available?
No, not on my playlist.
Oh. Okay.
Hasselhoff was, wasn't
Yeah, and some Partridge Family.
he? Yeah.
Tony DeFranco?
Yeah, Heartbeat, it's a
Heartbeat,
love beat.
It's a Love Beat?
Yeah, you betcha. But I thought I'd ask you this as an opening question, the same question I would ask the Dalai Lama if I was to meet the Dalai Lama.
He's on next week.
I think so. Well, we're hoping. Our people are talking.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's a major horror fan.
He is?
Yeah, he's into Gorno.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, heavy Gorno. That is my belief. There, I can't get sued. So if I was to actually traverse the waters,
Yeah.
have an arduous journey, get to a place that kind of looks like that Oriental Kowloon place or whatever that Danny Rand has to protect in Iron Fist, and I ascended the stairs and was given an audience with the Lama himself.
Yeah.
The first question I would ask, the only question I'd have to ask the Venerable Lama would be, how big's your dong?
Shit.
Okay, no, I have to do that to you, Dave. We go back a long way.
Make me feel at home.
Dong is outside warming the car up.
Dong, come here. Eat this tall. Okay,
Does
so
he have a bell that goes ting tong? Oh, this is okay.
I thought this was a children's show.
Yes.
well, it
It
is.
can be.
It
It
is.
can be.
Oh, I can't.
It can be.
We could just do it with puppets.
Well,
Same thing.
Children and growing up bodies. Yes.
Well,
Well,
essentially.
maybe not.
So if you've watched past episodes, you know that we've been talking about holiday films, werewolf films, and vampire films. So since our last episode, I tried to catch up on some of the holiday stuff. And I know you tried.
Yes, I did. I did manage to do quite a bit. There's quite a bit out there, and if you sift through the material and everything, you'll find there's still a lot of material out there, and you could never catch up.
No, I thought Easter would be easy. I really did.
No, it's not. It's anything could be a subject for a horror picture. It's probably part of marketing. too. When election day, for instance, I'm sure there's one out there for that.
I don't think you could possibly make it any more horrifying than real life. But so yeah, over the Easter weekend, I watched Bunny, the Killer Thing, and I watched.
Was it part 1 or 2?
It was part 1.
Oh, okay.
Bunny, there's part 2.
I hope not.
Could be.
Actually, Bunny the Killer Thing wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Really?
Well, I expected a little worse.
You know, we don't want to come on here and
Bash films.
slag people for getting something out there and getting something seen. But it was an interesting hour 15 minutes of one's life watching this. I'll have to say one of the best parts of it though was the soundtrack.
Yes. Well,
sort of 80 little.
it's a Finnish film
Yeah.
from Finland. So yeah, and Finland has some of the best metal.
It's the death metal. It was the death metal thing. I personally thought it was a frat boy film. But, if that's the kind of stuff that goes, that people like to watch and swill whatever it is they're swilling and watch, that's cool.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with you. I mean, well, it's the whole movie's basically dick jokes, party jokes.
Yeah, there was some serious overtones though.
The basic premise is a writer goes to Finland to get away to a retreat and write a book. These guys, who were never identified to my satisfaction, wearing ski masks and stuff,
right,
grab him, blow his wife, well, I won't do any spoilers, but they take him and they inject him with this fluid that turns him into a rabbit. It turns him into a guy in a really, really shitty bunny costume. Really bad.
I worked on that film.
Did you?
Just kidding.
Wascally rabbit wheel.
But he's got like a rubber dick about this long, attached to the front of the bunny suit.
Like all rabbits have.
Like all rabbits, of course. Yeah. And he runs around for most of the film saying, pussy, pussy, and doing a helicopter with the dick.
It was last Saturday, wasn't it?
No, that wasn't me. That was another undistinguishable Asian fellow. But
I'm not even going to say anything for that one.
What I will say is I laughed a few times. There was 2 times I couldn't help myself. I had to laugh.
Yeah.
And a couple of the scenes, especially at the end when the guy's running away and he gets his head blown off, it was a really good effect. In fact, I want to.
The end now, or?
Well, yeah, I think so. But there's a chance there could be other bunnies.
Oh, okay. Because they multiply like crazy.
No, that was the whole idea, I suppose.
Yeah.
The underlying theme of the whole thing. You wanted to mate like a rabbit. Do you have anything further to add to that? Or?
I really don't know what to make of that picture. I don't know if Dave's had a chance to see it or something. It's something to
But you will now.
Save for a winter night.
Okay. Now, did you learn any swear words watching the subtitles or anything? Was there subtitles? Or?
Yes, it was subtitled.
Yeah.
So what was the word dick in Finlandian?
Moi aktiverik.
Is that?
Moi aktiverik.
Is that really?
Yes, it is. It's moi aktiverik. It means nice ass.
Was that okay?
Oh, okay. But my other complaint.
Yes.
As often in horror movies, the one girl that you want to see naked doesn't get naked.
But she
The
lives
rest
probably
do.
through the whole thing. Then,
No. She gets bunny boned.
Okay.
I'm really at a loss for words on this one. The viewers out there will have to see it themselves and make the.
It's not a waste of time. It's just if you go in with lower expectations, I think you're okay. It's like,
it's kind of like Russ Meyer meets Hanna-Barbera a little bit,
with cock.
Yeah. I really didn't know what to make of it because I watch when he comes out yelling all the time and everything, and I'm going, is that what he's saying? Is that what I think he's saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying it all the time, and I'm going, is he going to say something else? And I'm going, okay, so I guess that's the point of the picture. Some good chase moments, like you said, some good effects moments. There was some shouldn't say mildly, there were some serious moments in the picture, like the one with the kid in the closet, part with the kid in the closet, and he's watching, you know, and the young girl, the blonde girl, has passed out from too much drink, and it was there was a connotation of date rape, I'll say it.
But lesbian
I'll
date
say it,
rape.
yeah, and voyeurism in it.
Yeah, and he's standing in the closet getting aroused.
Yeah, there's this kind of a connotation to it. So, you know, in today's day and age, it's a tender subject, as it should be, and everything. And I thought that was, you started to get a little dark in there. But
Easter-wise, I watched Holidays, that basically covers various holidays, short films. I was actually surprised. Kevin Smith actually directs one of the episodes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I'd never seen the show, but I knew he directed one of them.
Yeah, and the Easter one was a bit of a, it's all
The
right.
Easter one, you know?
No, I have no idea who the director was or who wrote it. But it concerned druids and that kind of thing, and rebirth, and it was, it was all right. Which brings us to the other one.
brings us to the other one. Oh, we were talking Easter Bunny Massacre. Is this one?
Easter Bunny Bloodbath.
Easter Bunny Massacre is probably the sequel. I should have given it away.
No, I found Easter Bunny Bloodbath, and I said, Terry, for the show, watch Easter Bunny Bloodbath. So one of the first things he says to me this evening when we arrived on set was, thank you so much. Regrettably, it's a Canadian film. It's and again, we're not here to bash filmmakers, but this one was. It was shot in, I believe, Vancouver and Chilliwack.
Yeah, and it's on video. The new technology at the time. I don't.
Oh yeah. Oh, they made a big thing about that, didn't they?
Yeah.
About made to look like video. In other words, all we have is an old video camera.
Yeah.
But really, it wasn't. The production values weren't bad.
Well, other than the fact there's the main character who's in the prologue, he's a white boy, and then they go to him later on, they say 10, 15 years down the road, they say he's no longer white.
He's
played by another
he's an East Indian with with red hair for some reason.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it art?
Well, we were just quibbling, I think.
Yeah. It was, it was not like, little mosque on the prairie or anything like this, but it was...
was it a plot twist or anything?
No, you see the end coming 3 minutes into the film.
Right when it says the end.
What it does do is it does contain, Dave, the least enthusiastic kill I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And basically what it comes down to is the guy in the bunny suit chopping away at somebody. And somebody behind the camera has obviously like a spray ketchup bottle, and he's spraying it because you can see it comes out like whiz.
Like whiz. You're gonna have to let us know about whiz.
Not the audience.
Inquiring viewers want to know.
It looks like somebody's peeing ketchup on him. But yeah, it's just and the bunny's moving this fast.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's just a horrible film.
Yeah. That was James Franco, wasn't it? That one?
I think so. It was one of his early, one of his early roles.
Bottle?
Yeah. He played the ketchup bottle.
Sorry, James, not meaning to. We don't disparage anybody.
And shortly, I guess, before that was April Fool's Day.
Yes.
And I watched April Fool's Day, the original 80s film.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was good.
Good twist to it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but if you had to know from the very beginning by the title of the film what was going to happen at the end.
Well, I kind of gave it the benefit of the doubt on it because I just said I'm just going to let this play over me and not overthink this. And you kind of get the idea, when they go on all these little pranks like it still makes you laugh. You turn on the faucet and it sprays somebody's face, and it's still a laugh maker, or the doorknob comes off on the hand, this sort of thing. There were some well placed things in it, but you kind of go, oh, but you accept it in the context of that film.
Hot blonde too.
That was the same girl from Valley Girl, wasn't it?
No, she was this girl
I can think
didn't.
it was
She
the
only
same
acted in the one role,
Oh, did she?
and she later on went to become. I think she became an exec with Showcase,
Oh, okay.
a big exec.
See,
Yeah, gorgeous
I hope you're
woman.
right.
I thought the main lead was. I thought she was in Valley Girl.
Oh well, there was. Well, here let me just check
You got
this.
what you got in front of you?
Let's see here.
I could be wrong, but I thought it was the same girl.
We'll be playing the Jeopardy theme music now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Jim is going to check about
But
a
there-
life with a viewer.
There are a lot of April Fool's films.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you're talking about the main one that came out.
Yeah, there was a remake in 2008.
Yeah. It was 80s, the one you're thinking.
I honestly thought with that film, the accident, judging from the production values that I saw, say in the first 15 minutes, but when they're on the ferry, and the two guys play that, well, I'm not going to give it away, but I thought, okay, this is part of the film, and it's not part of what's going to happen later on.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, this fits, so. The style of picture, basically, and you've seen the film.
Oh, I seen it when it came out.
Yeah.
So it's going quite a ways back.
Yeah, that was 86 or something? Or
Yeah, I think so.
something
It was
like
one
that,
of all the horror films. Well, after. Because when did Friday the 13th came out? 80, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it was still. We're still getting those
And-
films coming out after that.
And so you get you get a lot of the imitations, but it's still, you were speaking of plot before and everything in story, and still basically, it always seems to be group of people go to a remote area for fun.
Yeah.
And the one we talked about previously too, everybody traveling someplace for fun, which seems to be a staple of the genre. Why don't they just stay where they are? But then there'd be no film.
Why doesn't the killer take a cab and come to where the kids are
Yes.
instead of moving to him?
Oh, we'll
Yeah.
discuss that with Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the hood.
It's not the same girl.
You're talking about Deborah Foreman,
Foreman,
who in
yes.
her own way is a bit of a scream queen.
Yeah, I thought it was Deborah Foreman. No, she didn't do Valley Girl.
Let me see. She has done 25 films.
And
She was on MacGyver.
yes,
Lobster Man from Mars.
Yeah.
really,
Waxwork.
not the German one, right?
Real Genius.
Maybe that's the
Hot
one.
Pursuit. Grizzly 2.
Oh, gee.
Grizzly 2.
Yeah.
The Concert.
Grizzly 2, the concert.
Yeah, she was in Valley Girl.
Yeah, that's what I thought she was.
And the girl I was referring to that was really hot,
Yeah.
her name is Deborah Goodrich.
Okay. No.
And she spent a lot of time as an exec, as a story editor at Miramax
Oh, okay.
for Weinstein.
Yeah.
So I thought it was adequate, but it wasn't as. I think you began to see at that point where the gore was starting to become less in about 89.
Yeah. You think
It certainly wasn't like the early like
It's
Friday the
stuff,
13th.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not so overt and right there in your
Yeah.
face. Which brings me to another point.
Yeah.
I've been watching Netflix films. Did
Yeah.
you see Veronica?
No, is that Spanish one?
Yeah,
I watched
that's
the
the one.
beginning and then I didn't want to go through the subtitles, so I kind of turned it off. For a bit.
Well, that's the one they say only one
What's
in
the
one.
scariest film
Yeah,
ever?
1 in 100
Yeah.
people can actually make
Yeah.
it all the way through.
Yeah.
What a fucking brilliant marketing campaign!
Yeah.
Because it's not scary. It is your typical
Yeah.
play with the Ouija board, get
Yeah.
possessed film.
Yeah.
Nothing special about
Oh,
it.
don't give the plot away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there are people out there would want to watch it.
Well, it's a simple possession story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's no
Or
good then.
if it
No.
happens again,
Okay.
it's
No.
repossession.
Tragedy Girls.
I've never seen it though.
Yeah, about two kind of psychopathic girls who like to, want to be serial killers.
Yeah.
You'd love the effects.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Well, I told you I like The Babysitter. It was good.
The Babysitter was very good.
I think that's in Australia. Was it shot in Australia or something? New
I'm
Zealand?
not sure.
The
I'm not
Babysitter?
sure. It's
The
a Netflix
Babysitter.
original.
It's a Netflix one, but it's quite comedy.
And what else did I watch? There's been quite a few lately that I was quite impressed
Have you
by.
seen the Final Girls yet?
Final Girls.
I've never seen it, but I'm curious about it.
I've got it sitting on my hard drive. I'm ready. I'm ready to watch it.
Because a spoof of kids go to see a horror film.
Mhm.
80s when they get sucked into the screen, they become part of the 80s horror film and that sort of stuff. It looks really interesting, the trailer, but then I've read that there's not much gore in it, which is kind of odd because it's an 80s horror film, should have a lot of gore.
You would think.
Yeah.
But I'm beginning to think now that there's going to be like a new golden age of horror,
Yeah.
of gory horror.
Yeah.
Because what people are doing is with Stranger Things and everything else, they're going back to that 80s.
80s, yeah.
They're going back to the 80s style.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, people are rediscovering those films. And saying, well, yeah, these are good.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's what Tucker and Dale was supposed to be, a homage to the 80s horror film.
Hmm?
If you watch it, it's really got a lot of the stuff in there and stuff like you see from Friday the 13th and all that stuff.
well, yeah, just the setting and everything else.
Yeah.
So you did all the effects
Yeah.
for Tucker and Dale. Before we get there, what made you decide to pursue this?
I seen a movie called Alien. I think was the first movie I seen. I always liked all the Jack Pierce stuff from way back, and classic stuff. And a lot of the Hammer films I used to watch and all that stuff. And then Alien came out, and then I think it was American Werewolf came out. And Rick Baker. All of a sudden, I said, "There's a guy who's got a job that's really cool to do." And I always liked horror stuff. And I said, I sort of started getting into about 80. But I dabbled a bit in makeup before then. And then that was actually when it first started, where people were actually having a career in this kind of industry. Before that, I mean, Jack Pierce and all those guys, John Chambers had careers in that, but they weren't. There was no magazines about them besides Famous Monsters or something like that, and that's why I used to get Famous Monsters read about. But then it became sort of almost 1980s with Tom Savini kind of legitimized it and kind of made it a career that people can pursue and that. And schools weren't even started yet. And there was, maybe a couple schools.
Yeah, Dick Smith must have had a...
No, he didn't do his stuff until, I don't think he had his school. He had his books, though. Because I had the Dick Smith books, Monsters and all that stuff.
What about the Westmores, like the Westmore brothers?
Yeah, they had, yeah.
I
don't think they really had school, though, because I don't think people weren't really making, there's such an odd job that people weren't really making tons of money in it and stuff. Money's never been an important thing, but I think in the 80s also there was a lot of makeup artists came out in that early 80s after Rick Baker and Rob Bottin and all the guys and stuff like that. And
Frank Tuttle, I think, wasn't one?
William Tuttle.
William Tuttle.
Yeah.
Frank Tuttle.
And he actually made his own makeup on it too,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, there was a lot of guys. There was a lot of English, and there was also the American guys and all that stuff that were out there and stuff. I don't know. It just happened to be the right time. I was young 20s, and it was a perfect time to start really getting into it. But of course, I did like the old famous, I really tend to like the Hammer films and that sort of. But then when you said Friday the 13th came out, it was a totally different thing because all of a sudden an Alien came out, and it was real, kind of like really complicated gore effects. Before that, you could see the gore effect, but those ones were kind of getting seamless, where you were starting to see. They started to look realistic, I think, really realistic at that point. So, there's some good makeup in the 70s and all that was out there, but they weren't really horror films. And I think Friday the 13th kind of changed that and stuff like that. And American Werewolf, of course, changed it all for me when I seen American Werewolf. I seen it 8 times in the theater.
The transformation.
Yeah, and the Howling I probably even liked more, but it wasn't. It kind of came at the same time, and American Werewolf was kind of had more publicity behind it than the Howling.
I preferred the comedic aspect too, though.
Yeah, it was really good. And then of course the Thing, John Carpenter's Thing came out, and then it was kind of like, this is cool stuff.
So, as I understand it, one of your first makeup jobs or participating in a film was The Final Sacrifice.
Well, that one, one of your favorites.
Well, it sat on the bottom of the list at Rotten Tomatoes for years, and almost a decade.
Yeah.
What can you share about production of that?
I don't know. It was good. It was a bunch of real enthusiastic people. A lot of them were film students that we worked over with at State, and what did we do in that? I did one of the guys' makeups. Like I wasn't really much in the makeup part. Me and Brian Fall were Brian built the city that rises out of the ground. We did various props and all that stuff. But I don't know. because somebody put on IMDb that I did the makeup for Satoris. Is that his name? What's his name?
Yeah, Taurus.
And I don't think I actually did. And then somebody actually wrote under there, Dave Trainer did not do that makeup. The guy who played the character did it. And I couldn't remember, but it might have been the straight makeup on the other characters.
Well, it was just some Brill cream.
Yeah,
and
well,
some,
he's something with his eyebrows, but I don't think I did that makeup.
They whitened his temples.
Yeah,
And,
see, I think Charters put that on that I did on IMDb, and I never claimed that I did it. So,
how do you pronounce the writer's name?
Charters Gridanis?
Chartist Gridanis.
Yeah.
I still have to contact him because I do want to do a short film, a sequel.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, you talked about that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I really want to do it.
Yeah.
Because Bruce is a friend of mine on Facebook and he's enthusiastic about it. So
Well,
why
yeah,
not?
Bruce. Yeah. What's Bruce doing these days?
Basically retired.
Well, yeah, that's right.
And, it would kind of be like an Ash versus Evil Dead thing
Yeah,
years later, right?
Yeah.
And watching him try to get back into a jean jacket and do all that, but it's kind of been done with Ash.
Yeah, it's already been done. Yeah.
But it's again, we have an idea, and then it just gets somebody else does it.
Like, what's the following of that film? You followed? Is it a big following?
It's a huge cult.
Okay.
Ever since Mystery Science Theater
Picked it up.
did it. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. You were also one of the henchmen, were you?
Yeah, I was one of the guys running down the alley, and I had a mask on. I don't know what's this.
Was it like a black face toque, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, we had I think eyes cut out of it and stuff. But it was, I don't know, it was the cameraman was in there. It was almost half the crew was in there. Yeah, we ran down the alley, actually not that far from here. It's probably about 7 blocks from here or something. This location, yeah. So there's a sign, there's a plaque up over there. It said, we shot it there. No, they didn't.
It's a blue plaque.
There's a plaque, yeah, it's a blue.
Those in the UK, it's a blue plaque.
It's actually a piece of cardboard, I think.
Some of our less fortunate have peeled off and are now sleeping on it.
Okay, so what was your first big film or big opportunity
I don't know what the first big one. We worked on a film. I had a company with Brian Fall and Mark David Stewart, and Paul Brown. We did a film called Reflecting Skin. I think was our first big one. Yeah,
I remember that.
And we did it, and it was the director was quite a genius. It was the best. It was still one of the best scripts I've ever read. It was brilliant. It was like he was a good writer though. His name Philip Ridley, and it was very David Lynch. If anybody hasn't seen it and likes David Lynch, you got to see it.
Reflecting Skin.
Yeah, and it's won tons of the British Film Awards, BAFTAs or whatever, I don't know what they're called and stuff like that. And it's won for best soundtrack because the DOP on that was Dick Pope, who went on to do all the Narnias, and he's won a couple Oscars and that. And
cool.
Then, of course, that was Viggo Mortensen's one of his first films too. He was in it, and that was so funny about that whole story about it. It's sort of an inside story that. And I was told by this some guy. I hope it's true. But when the film came out, they were looking in Hollywood to find the main character that Viggo played, and it was a choice between Viggo was kind of a later guy, and it was Kiefer Sutherland, River Phoenix, and what was the other guy's name? The guy who's kind of like Jack Nicholson. Christian Slater.
Christian Slater.
And I remember one of them said they would do it for scale. I think it might have been River Phoenix because he really liked it. And then, of course, he passed away. And then the director didn't like Christian Slater because he thought he was too Jack Nicholson. Like he says, I'll just get Jack Nicholson for that role. And then Kiefer Sutherland, I think he thought to look too old or something, even at that time and stuff. But then they got Viggo because he just liked Viggo. And I don't know what Viggo just done. The only thing he'd done, I think, was the Witness at that point, stuff like that. But he was my business partner at the time, Brian Fall. He went and met him on set, and he's the nicest guy I've ever met, still to this day. He said he was a super nice guy. But he was just doing films to pay for his photography. Like he was really into photography. At that time, I think he might have been married to a girl from X, girl from X. He was married to her or dating her at this time.
Really?
Yeah, but he was really into art. He wanted to be a photographer. I think he still got some photography books out, and he was kind of doing acting to pay off this kind of stuff. And that sort of stuff. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, have you seen it or?
No,
you guys should catch it now. Yeah. It just came out in DVD actually. They did a Blu-ray and DVD because you could only get it in VHS for many years, and it just came out. They did kind of an anniversary. I think it's 25th anniversary or something like that. And so they did a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff, and that's pretty interesting.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, I'll check out the Blu-ray then.
Yeah.
Will you autograph it?
That's right.
Not on the disc.
I'm
maybe the
serious.
case.
That's right on the disc.
No, I remember they used to run it to death on some of the movie
Showcase
channels.
was on.
Showcase.
Yeah,
would run it.
Showcase. And CBC
Yeah.
used to play a lot of it late night and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even the soundtrack is really famous.
Yeah.
It's like the London Philharmonic Orchestra. They got a whole orchestra
Yeah.
soundtrack, and it's beautifully shot. Like it's,
Speaking of that, have you ever seen a film that you've made after you've completed
Yeah.
the project,
Yeah.
and you come on and you go, they cut something out, or
Yeah, there's been a couple shows. One did I just see lately?
and you go, well, that's interesting because
There's been a lot of stuff cut in Fargo. Last season of Fargo, they cut a bunch of stuff out. I don't know. It's probably so much that I can't remember which one to specifically think of now. So.
yeah, but it's something that you've been surprised at. That is,
Yeah. Well, most of the time it's a character. Like if a character has a scar or something, or the funny teeth. That's what we had a problem in Fargo. Lots of times the characters are just written out, so you never
Yeah.
get to see them anyway. So they never even make it to the screen anyways. Like there was one thing we did, a guy with gold front teeth, and then I watched Fargo last season, and I said, what happened to that guy who was in there that we built a gold tooth for? I mean, he was just left on the cutting room floor, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it was kind of, I mean, there's stuff like that. Not much of the gore. I'm also surprised how much they leave in sometimes. Like when we did, we worked on a movie called Passchendaele. It's a Canadian war picture, and that.
good show.
Yeah,
Good
it's
show.
pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's a whole scene where I don't know if you've seen the rat coming out of the mouth, that
Mhm.
sort of. And they had the camera so far away that I said, "You're not going to see this at all." And then I thought they were just going to do a quick snippet, and they kept it on the camera for quite a while. And I was surprised because I thought they were just going to. They kept almost every frame they shot of that. Where the guy with the hand going through the mouth, they shot a lot of it, and you can barely see it at all because I don't think they wanted an R rating on the film because they got a PG, and you start showing all that kind of stuff, and it starts getting pretty gory. But everybody, it's funny when they watch that movie, they tell me, "Yeah, I know what he did. He put his hand through." And I said, "How can you tell that? I was there and they shot it, and I can't even when I watch it, I don't know I can't see the guy's hand going in his head, and somehow people can just through editing can tell what happened." You know, and they shot a lot of footage. They'll overshoot everything and that, but then sometimes it gets cut back because of censorship, or it just starts looking fake. You can't show makeup effects too long, or else they start looking kind of fake, no matter how good they are. And stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's true. Maybe it's. Did they do a European cut of that film? Passion?
I don't know. I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to do a long version and put it on DVD, like with a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And they do have behind the scenes stuff, but I thought they were going to do an extended version. Cause I thought they had it almost cut like a 3-hour film, and then they kind of cut back and that sort of stuff. Because I know there was a lot of stuff they shot. A couple days I was out there shooting some scenes and that never made it to the film and stuff like that. So.
The rumor I heard was that Paul Gross wasn't particularly happy because the original script
Yeah.
was looked at,
Yeah.
and some of the producers went, "Well, maybe we should have a love interest,"
Yeah.
and that did not make him happy.
Well, because his script was written basically about his grandfather's memoirs. I mean, he kind of told me stories, but the problem is, I don't think maybe the producers or somebody, they didn't think that you could sell a war picture to women. And that's the problem, is you're missing half the audience and stuff like that.
Really? The English patient didn't count?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
All
right.
of these?
I don't think any men went to see the English Basic guys. So,
You know, all of these going back, you know, they were
Yeah.
expendable. All of these
Yeah.
films were Donna Reed as the nurse. and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
You know?
yeah.
Oh well, that's the
Yeah,
way some
yeah.
people think, I guess.
Yeah, but probably a lot of women went to see Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no love interest in there, is there?
Well, at the end.
Tom
I
Hanks
guess,
and
the little
Matt Damon?
wrap around at the beginning.
Okay.
You know.
They cut no, that hit the
They
cutting
cut
room
that scene.
floor.
That's in the cutting room
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah. But no, it's an interesting that that
Yeah.
they would try to wrap a love interest into a war picture.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
A little sentimental at the
I
end.
found it distracting though in Passchendaele. I thought there was enough stuff in there, but then they also said that shooting war stuff, shooting guns going up, it gets expensive too. So you have to do all this filler. But I also thought the story, just him and the boy and going back to say, you could have just cut the whole romance out of it and still would have been good. It would have been probably a better picture, I feel, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Because
think-
it was a good enough story. You didn't need to have the other parts in.
Well, I think they went overboard on Pearl Harbor with the love story.
Yeah, that killed it though,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you know what set the trend for that? Probably I'm just throwing it out. From Here to Eternity.
Yeah.
You have the love interest, and then you have what's going on with Sinatra and
Well,
Pruitt and Borgnine and everything,
yeah,
a bunch of
yeah.
other stuff going
But
on.
storytelling though had to be a little more. It had to be more about the story because you weren't showing graphic violence.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like Private Ryan and.
Well,
Yeah.
to a point, they actually showed. This is off topic from
Yeah.
a horror show that we're doing here, but they did show Sinatra's face when he's beaten up by Borgnine's character, and
Yeah.
everything is
Mhm.
quite
Quite
horrific at
graphic.
the time,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And they, of course, they underplay it because it's a major studio. It was Columbia Pictures
Yeah.
and stuff. And Harry Cohen underplaying something. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but yeah, there was some violence in it. The thing that was missing, and I haven't seen it in a lot of today's films. They have violence, yes, for lots of different reasons, but all the violence from Here to Eternity is based on prejudice.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not, you're not fighting something. You're pretty this guy doesn't like this Italian person, so
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is what was going on.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and you don't see that in today's
Films,
that
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Not maybe that's a good thing.
Thing, yeah, yeah.
So, you were telling me one day,
Yeah.
and I think it's probably interest our viewers on how this works, about the notes that you get from like effects and AMC about what you can show, what you can't show, and you know how that works.
Yeah.
I believe you mentioned, like AMC said, like you
Yeah.
were telling me about The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
that you can do anything you want to a zombie
Yeah.
because a
they're dead.
zombie is dead.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
not human. But if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
did the same thing you did to a zombie to a human,
Yeah, yeah.
it wouldn't pass their
Yeah.
their code.
Well, we get it through the makeup. Like I get it through the key makeup person, and they sort of send notes and stuff like that. But it changes though too, because it also changes. Like we did second season of Fargo, and we did. There's a guy gets his head chopped. I don't know if you've seen second season when he gets his head. What's his name? McCulkin. Colin McCulkin. He gets. And that week during that week there had been some beheadings with the Taliban. So we basically built a whole body with his head cut off and everything because he's putting the meat grind. He's chopped all up, and then they couldn't show his head. If you watch it, his head's just the back of him, just the back of the head. They couldn't. We built the whole head to be shown. Like it was a head cast, and everything was done in New York, and it, he sent it out here, and then we built the whole head for it, and they couldn't show it because that week they got a thing saying you can't show any beheadings on national television now because it's too touchy because it's in the news right now. So there's actually, you can see the back side of his ear a little bit. You couldn't show his face. You could show the back of his head, but not his face. And that's, what's happening in the news always dictates some of these shows. And that, so they just, if it gets, like when 9/11 came up, they couldn't do any blowing up buildings for a while and stuff like that. So, and they're quite gauged on that, how touchy. But I mean, it's, but AMC is also a little more, it's not like as much cable. You can show a bit, but see, Hell on Wheels also changed too, because first season, I think we were in a different time slot. So if you're showing at certain points and you're at 7 o'clock, you can't get as gory, because I remember, and then it went to a later time slot, and then it got gorier. You could just tell by the writing it was more violent, because it was starting later in these times. I don't know how it works, because it goes from east to west coast and all that stuff. But there was a change in what they could show and stuff like that. So.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Early on in your career, you did Blade 2. What did you do for that?
I didn't actually do any makeup stuff. I worked with, we had a shop at the time called Gizmo Shop, and we did those badges, Blade's badges. What else did we? Oh, we did the backpack thing for his knife. We did those goggles that when he's fighting the guys, and then we made the goggles that shrink up and down. Then we also went on to do all the armor. Then they go and hunt the vampires, and we did 26 suits of armor that they had to wear and go into the caves. And that's what we mostly worked with a costume designer in Calgary and stuff like that. So
Cool.
Yeah.
What would be an effect you were most proud of?
I don't know which ones I like the best.
Well, I sure like that one with Billy Bob's leg. I mean,
That one,
was,
yeah.
That was quite
That was
impressive.
pretty good, yeah. It was quite a bit done on that. There was quite a few stages on that, because there was a bunch of us worked on it, and we had different stages of like he had a slip-on sock at one point when he was walking, and then we had to actually build a fake leg. He was on a chair, and his leg goes off, and then we had a fake one on the other side, and that sort of. But we had to make a mechanism that would make the bone pop up, and that was a bit tricky because we had designed it a certain way to pull straight out, but the director wanted it tied around his toe, And I said, well, no, it should be around his ankle because you couldn't pull. You got no pull on the toe. But sometimes in TV, if it looks visually better, they'll do it that way, but it doesn't make any sense. Like if I was going to pull my bone straight, I'd put it around my ankle and pull straight out instead of, because your toe just wouldn't do that. But, because of television, you can do that. And it just visually, I think, work better when you do that. And stuff like
Do you think it's because it's a small screen?
No, I don't know. I think just the way it looks. Most of the time, it's just the visually the way it looks. Like, I mean, sometimes you always do over things like, it's like we always change stuff all the time because it's real sometimes doesn't look very real. You have to sort of, like when we do gore stuff, we sculpt stuff, we always overdo it because most humans, when you see it, it's kind of just a bunch of mush. But we try to make it interesting with little veins and all that kind of, because it just looks more visual. But in real life, if you see it in real life, it looks just like hamburger meat or something. It's not that interesting.
No, actually, when you watch somebody get their hand cut off, it's
Yeah.
like, and watched a Yakuza thing where the guy chops off his finger.
Oh, yeah.
And you're expecting blood.
Yeah. It takes quite a while before the blood spooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. Is that the face of the death, isn't it?
I think it was. Yeah,
I seen that one.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We cut this,
Hope nobody's having dinner watching this.
That's right.
I think the people who watch this don't get bothered by this kind of thing.
They don't eat dinner.
Did you ever see an effect that you watched later and went, oops, that didn't work so well? Or...
Probably most of them. No, I mean, it's funny because when you do effects and that, you're mostly at the mercy of either the editor or the DOP. If you get a really good DOP and they light it really makes it look great. It makes it look better, but if you can go the other way, you can build a really good thing, and then they shoot it, light it badly, it just goes the other way, and it just looks really fake. So there's a lot of elements involved in and then the editing, of course. If you hang too long in something, sometimes you can look too much, and you can see things move around and jiggle and all that stuff. And they're not supposed to be jiggling and stuff like that. So,
what about an effect that you've seen in a film that you go, I wish I'd done that, and you didn't?
There's probably a lot of them.
Like something that you go.
American Werewolf, probably the thing. I'm kind of more back in those old '80s stuff. I do see new stuff that's really good too. I mean, most of it's old age makeup and all that stuff, and like I really like Benjamin Button, and I liked. My favorite makeup of all time was when we did. Was the one with Gary Oldman, Red Dragon or something. One of the Silence of the Lambs movies, when he's burnt up. Mm-hmm. The Greg Cannon did that makeup. I think it's fantastic makeup. Mm-hmm. I just think,
I thought for a minute you were going to say Dustin Hoffman, Little Big Man.
Oh yeah, Little Big Man. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was shot that. I don't know if they shot that stuff out here. A lot of it was shot out in Cochrane.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Dick Smith was out here, I think. When he shot, so they might have done some of the stuff out here. I'm not sure. That was 70, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Dick Smith's The Hunger is amazing and stuff. Hunger and Bowie and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of the guys nowadays are getting really really good and stuff like that. But it's it's just people are getting better and better and stuff because better and better.
Well, when we get back, we'll start to talk a little bit about CGI. We'll be back right after this.
Oh, hello there. I wanted to let you know, listener, that I couldn't help but notice last night when I was peering through your window that you weren't wearing the latest of Scream Radio merchandise. May I highly suggest you go to shop.spreadshirt.com/Scream Radio to get some authentic Scream Radio merchandise as soon as you can. Because, as they say, it soaks up the blood quite well.
One of our viewers sent us an email wondering if they could have a better look at our set. So we have our bookshelf, an Alice Cooper photo, autographed, that belongs to the gentleman who owns this home, Wade Clark, as well as the Kiss Lawn Gnome. We have, Terry has provided a DVD gift set that has little busts of the Wolfman, Dracula, and Frankenstein, and there's just an assortment of horror novels here. That's really about it. It's a very simple set.
Sometimes I just feel like nothing I do matters. Like I'm not special. We only got one retweet today from your mom. Sad.
We were just wondering if maybe you could give our blog a shout out.
A shout out from me would be a little off brand.
I have 15,000 followers. You know what that means in a community like this?
More to the left. His heart's more to the left. You're just hitting bone, dude. I'm trying. Mr. High is trending.
I really hope nothing bad happened to him.
It's like poof. He vanished, right?
Anybody could be next. Even you.
You can find more information on our Tragedy Girls Twitter page.
Your brains, my charisma. You can do anything.
Quick soundbite from the Tragedy Girls.
OMG, I can't even with this right now.
Are you afraid that the killer will target you because of your infamous blog? We will not take any more shit from this serial killer. I'm so scared right now.
Look amazing.
Jeez.
Michaela?
Shit. Damn it, okay.
I'm sorry.
Stay in character.
Phone's off, but it's a matter of life and death.
You bitches crazy!
We used to be the same, you and me.
Do you remember our first time? I just want to know what's next for the Tragedy Girls.
What happened there?
Nothing.
Is that blood?
Heavy flow day.
I don't know if that's not how that works, right?
And welcome back. Hey, Terry, what are you looking at there?
I'm looking at this wonderful poster that was provided me. I was very, very, very shocked at this. Boris Karloff, The Early Years in Canada, a coming production from Double Eat Films.
And HGB Entertainment Limited.
Yes, it perhaps will be available, but we'll keep that under our hats right now. But this is the pre-production or the actual poster for the early years of Boris Karloff in Canada that will be shot in the very, very near future, and is something to keep in mind for all you classic horror people out there. And this is a piece of Canadiana, a piece of film history that deserves to be recognized. I think it's going to be a very, very, very good show.
I believe it will be too, and you'll have an opportunity to own one of these posters autographed by Sarah Karloff, Boris Karloff's daughter, who's going to come to Canada, and we're going to take her around and show her some of the places where her father began his acting career back in the 30s.
The 20s, actually.
20s, 30s.
Yes.
In Calgary, Lethbridge, Brandon, all over British Columbia.
Basically, yes. Calgary, of course. He had a big state, Fort McLeod, all of these places. And interesting little tidbit about him writing a play. He wrote, honest, Boris Karloff wrote a play, what was called a two-hander, which is, in acting parlance, is basically just a two-person play, about a man and a woman's relationship, and he wrote it in Hardesty. And it has never been produced, and just another little bit of some of the facts that will be coming out in Boris Karloff, The Early Years in Canada.
And for your information, Hardesty is a small town. It's not like a language.
It's not Hardesty to say.
And this poster goes to the ninth caller, is it?
Yeah, to the ninth caller. Yeah.
To the 999th caller. Yeah,
Yeah.
say. Or the 666th caller. How about that?
2037. Hello.
All you S&M people out there wearing collars, you can call right away.
Alrighty. Well,
All right.
okay. So before the break, we were talking to our guest, Dave Trainer, about some of his experiences with filmmaking and television making. You had a few questions regarding.
Yeah, I was going to. I was asking. We were talking a little bit about Rick Baker and everything, and you said that you attended a class with him.
Yeah,
or
it was
like-
at IMATS. We went to the International Makeup. The rest part. IMATS. It's in Pasadena, California. He did a big conference in one of the halls, and he was answering questions. And he has a book coming out. That's what he was talking about. But I don't know if it's. I don't think it's even out yet. So, but he's actually one of my faves. Him and Rob O'Keefe. So.
Did you ask him a question?
No, I was going to go towards the front. I was surprised it was only half full. Like I thought, but he's kind of. It's getting to the point where these guys are getting a little old, and they're just not. I don't know if they're hip enough. As
Coming soon to a convention near you.
That's right. So.
Yeah, and we also were sort of talking a little bit about process, and we said that a lot of these guys, and women, there's probably some women that do it too and everything, don't participate. They have a lot of assistants at everything to do stuff and everything, because just if it's a large project or anything,
we're like that. I'm like that too. I mean, I actually get hired for a lot of the makeup girls and people in town, and they're great to work. I like working with everybody and stuff like that. But one person I work with is Gail Kennedy, and she's Emmy. How many times Gail's won Emmy? Well, she's been nominated many times. She's won once, and I've been working with her for years. Sharon Toohey, Joanne Jacobson, just plugging some names in town, and Brian Callahan and stuff. But it's funny because I don't go to set much. I used to go to set a lot more, but I kind of work in the shop. I work with a great person called Yvonne Cox, and people might know her out there from Face Off. She was in 9th season Face Off. But there's a bunch of us, and when I started, I was by myself, and then I started realizing I can't work 18-hour days, stuff like that. So you have to start bringing people in, but you start specialize. One thing about Calgary is different than a lot of other markets. We kind of do everything from right from the bottom all the way almost to put them on set. And a lot of times in LA, it's not like that anymore. It's kind of more specialized because it's just we're just lucky we can do that here. I don't know. I talk to people in LA, and it's funny because they say, all I do is hair. And they said, what do you do? And I said, I do it all. And they go, really? And they're always kind of shocked. But we don't really have a choice here because we're such a small market. You have to learn to do everything. Like even prop building, I do a fair bit of prop. I don't build as many props as I used to. But I forget the question.
Well, I walked into your shop one day, and there was rocks sitting there.
Yeah, rocks. Yeah.
And he says, which ones are real? And I'm looking at it. I don't know. This one? And it was what, styrofoam?
Yeah, it was a hard foam, urethane foam.
Hard foam, urethane foam rock. It looked identical to a real rock.
Yeah.
And that was for like safety for bashing somebody's head.
Yeah, somebody had. I can't remember sure that was a tin star or something like that. But you build a lot of that stuff. Like when your props, like I said, we used to do whatever it took to do what you had. But I've been so lucky because I've sort of been doing just prosthetics in the last couple of years. But I love building props too. But there's a lot of good prop builders around too. So. But you start to become specialized because the market here is getting bigger now. And it's also changed too, because when I used to do shows like way back, like Lonesome Dove, there's no violence in TV, so there wasn't much prosthetics in those days. It might be a broken arm or thing. But nowadays, because of cable, you can do prosthetics has really been taken forward, and then with old age makeup and all that stuff. And the work just wasn't out there on these shows until cable television came along, and Netflix and all that, because you can show a lot more. And that was funny when you used to do, work on ABC shows and stuff. You couldn't show much, and so we ended up building a lot of just props most of the time and stuff like that. Fake guns. Like out here used to be quite wet. Calgary's not as much as known for westerns, but we used to do a lot of westerns out here and stuff like that. So you end up building rifles, rubber rifles, and all that kind of stuff.
Whereas I guess, yeah.
So, but now we're starting to get more horror stuff. I mean, horror's pretty big still. So it's in cable and stuff like that because you can start showing a lot of stuff.
That's cool. I was gonna say, maybe you should for one of these episodes make Terry and I look old. But then I could you make us look young without rotering us?
Get that Vaseline going on the lens.
All you see is this kind of a white, hazy image.
Here comes Dong along with the car, Jim.
So I have to ask you a question here.
Yeah.
Is it hard to make a realistic looking prop penis?
I've actually had to make a penis once.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is it
No,
hard?
well, I couldn't look too realistic.
Is it hard?
Okay. Where's the laugh track? We had to build one for. We did an episode on Hell on Wheels or something when the guy they had the natives cut off the guy's penis and they put it. I think he was supposed to be in his mouth or something. But it's funny. I just made a whole bunch. We had to make bags of these penises. Like if there was like 10.
Literally a bag of dicks.
Yeah. It was, but it was funny. I just took sheepskin. Like we couldn't be that close, so we could we had to get the right color and everything.
Oh, it's like a sack of hammers.
Yeah. So, but the funniest thing about it, we made 10 of them. They went out to set and they all disappeared for some reason. So they never came back. So it's always been laughed at.
Did you check the
there were
commissary? The commissary and the hot dogs
That's right,
that everybody had?
Yeah. Well, I did build a penis once for a show called, what was it called? Excuse me, Scar 3D. It was a 3D horror film that was shot here. And the director was kind of winging it in one scene, and he said, I want this guy, they peel back, and we did all these scars on him, and it's cut up and everything. And they said, can we have his dick cut off? And they said, and he's just telling me this, like, I said, when are you shooting? And he goes, about an hour. And I said, okay. And I look at him, so we actually went over to the food table, and we got a croissant, and then we just coated it with blood, and did a little bit of work on it and stuff like that. But it was a croissant penis.
I'm never looking at croissants again.
And on screen, did it?
I'm a big fan.
It's pretty dark, but you can't tell and stuff like that. Like he's cut off, and it's sitting somewhere on the blanket, and you don't really see it too well because it's pretty darkly lit and stuff.
Oh,
like
okay.
that,
So it's not like, oh look, the guy has a croissant for a penis.
But it wasn't 3D though. So.
A 3D penis.
That was
croissant.
a 3D movie, and that's what I said.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking of a bloody croissant.
There goes our food channel.
That's right. That's right.
Now?
Guy Fieri, it's not too late.
Yes.
We're still available.
Yeah.
Yes. Help us. Well, I guess, when you have to literally wing it on a set.
Yeah,
to do
sometimes you have to do that.
like
Yeah.
You got to get creative, and I guess sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
and,
most of the time it doesn't work and that sort of. But most of the time when you build stuff, you just throw more blood at it. If it doesn't look right, some part you just dump a lot of blood on it, and that's what they want.
When you talked about prop building,
Yeah.
do you have like a particular period in history you like to do? Like, oh boy, I like to do medieval, or I like to do futuristic.
It's funny because I never really thought about that. I like futuristic stuff, but it's funny. I watched a movie. James didn't like it. I asked him about it, Crimson Peak. And I think you said you didn't like it.
No, it didn't. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was nice. It was fine, but I just didn't.
I think it would be the area. Go get into that area because I like that film and I like that era because I like that kind of Hammer film stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd like to work in a period film. It doesn't really happen out here very much. I mean, if it is, it's a western. Well, I don't even know what period that is. Because it's a western's 1860s. I don't know what period would those films be. It could be 1860s England or something.
Mm-hmm. Which
Crimson Peak.
And
where are the Hammer ones? What years are those on?
Well, I mean, a lot of them would take place contemporary, but contemporary back in the day was
1880,
like vampire.
Like the early vampires, 1880s,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah. Because I'd like to work in those kind of period films. It'd be kind of fun. Westerns are fun. I really like westerns.
Yeah, because you can, give the scars.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I don't think there's really been great western horrors. I was thinking is there any great? You guys can recall
Was
any?
it? What is it? Martians? That one that Daniel Craig was in.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
No, that wouldn't be the answer.
No. Okay.
Bone Tomahawk.
Well, Bone Tomahawk's pretty. Yeah, we like Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
I remember phoning you that day.
Yeah.
And I'll phone Dave once in a while when I see something that's particularly well done and say the bar's been raised. When that guy's hanging and they just.
Yeah, split him in half.
Yeah, it's like, wow, okay.
Well, I did work on a horror western. What's that called? That Danny Trejo film I worked on. What was it called?
Oh, Dead Again in Tombstone.
Yeah.
Speaking of gore, I watched a picture from the 80s. You'll remember it. I think I told you about it. Was Natasha Kinski's Cat People.
Oh, yeah, Cat People's pretty good. Yeah.
And I thought this was a mainstream picture.
Yeah.
Paul Schrader directs it.
Yeah, yeah,
Not a horror guy.
yeah.
And yet
Taxi
there's
Driver and
this-
all that stuff. And that.
A fair amount of gore at the time.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
in on it.
Yeah, I'm getting pulled off by the lion and stuff. Isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
The
Tiger
Panther,
or
and
something,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
Ed,
Panther. Yeah.
was Ed Begley Jr.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
that long before
Yeah.
St. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
All of these things. You know, some of the other stuff that was
Yeah.
in that picture, and I thought, wow, this is mainstream, and this is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. And soundtrack too. It was a Bowie or something. The soundtrack.
Yeah.
Putting out fire with
Yeah,
gasoline.
Giorgio Moroder.
Moroder, yeah,
Yeah.
Moroder, and he did the song
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. Do you think
Yeah.
mainstream is going? In your opinion, is mainstream gone for that sort of of thing, other than Alien?
What, mean gore or
Yeah,
just, yeah.
gore, that kind of a thing.
Yeah,
It's-
I don't know. It seems like when they have gore in films, they kind of people seem to think he's lessened or something. Like I was surprised when I seen Shape of Water. I thought, whoops, sorry. I found it quite gory actually. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was a PG film or something, and I just watched it. And I really liked it. I really liked Shape of Water. But then of course it's all still Guillermo del Toro. He's still going to be kind of gory in that. But I thought it was pretty gory for a film that was a top picture. Like there's elements in there, isn't there? He gets his fingers chopped
Well,
off. And,
let's say Get Out one.
yeah.
It's got its moments too.
Yeah, I've
so.
never seen Get Out though. I heard it's good though.
No,
We mentioned
it's,
that on our second show
Yes.
and everything. I said this is going to be good, and it came up with the Academy Award nominations.
Because actually, when you think about it, Shape of Water is probably one of the first. Is there how many other Oscars have been won by fantasy kind of?
Ray Harryhausen, I think.
No, but for Best Picture.
Best Picture,
First
yeah.
one. First one.
Genre ones don't win.
Yeah, never
Until
win.
now.
Yeah.
So I was really hoping that one of them would, Shape of Water or Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah.
You came close. The Exorcist.
Yeah, The Exorcist
Close.
was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like
Close.
it. It's one of my.
Well, it won for sound editing
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
Yeah. But it has really good.
Did
acting.
Ellen Burstyn win anything?
I think she won.
She won Best Supporting Actress.
Actress. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
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 And,
But actual best film, no.
No.
Well, what? Jekyll and Hyde, Frederick Marsh came close.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Into these, but he
Yeah.
got was the only actor to get a Best Acting award.
Word. Yeah.
For Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
And that was interesting too when you were talking about prosthetics and everything.
Yep.
When he does, I'm sure you're
Yep.
way familiar with his transition in that
Yep.
film that they did just with colored lenses.
Yeah.
You know,
And they
rotating
had
colored
color
lenses
makes
and,
something. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his expression.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Exactly. In that. Yeah.
And then he became this primal Neanderthal man.
Man, that,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. I always liked the Jekyll and Hyde one with Jack Palance one. You ever
Yeah,
remember
the
Jack
television one.
That was brilliant. Man. It's really funny to watch now on some videotape. Well, that's just kind of it's like a soap opera or something like that. So, but it was really good because didn't he do two at that time? There was another horror one that was done around.
Dracula.
Dracula's the other one. Yeah, Dracula. Yeah, he
Like
was a
the
brilliant Dracula.
German
was-
shepherds running as wolves.
Yeah.
Dan Curtis. Yeah, that's an
On
opening.
CBC.
All the Dan Curtis. Yeah.
Dan Curtis.
See, I think that's what also inspired me too. Is all those Dan Curtis films that came out, like Crowhaven Farm and
Oh yeah.
and what was the other ones? A lot of them had Darren
Well,
McGavin.
Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows and I always thought
Cold Shack.
Cold Shack. Yeah, I thought it was one of the best. Like I remember when X-Files came out, and I said, "You guys, if you've seen X-Files, you got to see."
Cold Shack.
Yeah. And
The
because
Night
I thought
Stalker.
they were way better because they also had that sense of humor in them and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But they had brilliant creatures and they had good ideas, and he had more peril. And the X-Files were kind of like, well, just go in there and he solve it. Where he was always in peril. He's dropping his camera or something. He's trying to get it.
It was almost like a Columbo kind of.
He was, yeah, and he was kind of bumbling and stuff, and I liked that aspect. I didn't like the cool kind of X-Files.
And you had Simon Oakland as his editor.
Yeah, Simon Oakland. Yeah, that's right.
What are you doing, Carl?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that is a guy like Darren McGavin in today's television could not be a leading man.
No.
He's not handsome enough.
No.
I mean, even somebody like Savalas wouldn't
Yeah.
be a leading man.
Yeah.
Do you know who could though? I was just popped into my head about this.
Yeah.
John Cassavetes.
He would,
Depending on the show. Like,
yeah, he could have.
He was so wired, so you don't
Yeah.
get that eye.
But he did. He was a leading man on a TV show, wasn't he? Did some.
Cassavetes, I think.
There was one show called like the Dark City or something. There was a gang. There was a detective
I'm
show
sure
in the
he's done.
50s, and that he
Yeah.
was the leading man in that. He was
Yeah.
the main guy in there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, well, 70s had a lot. Because like William Conrad's not really a leading man, and
Well,
he did-
Cannon.
Have you ever? I thought about that. Have you ever seen William Conrad's film his film career. He played a lot of bad cops in the noir films.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A lot. And he would always have a sidekick. And he'd
Yeah.
be one of the guys that pick a person up
Yeah.
like this and do the interrogation because he had that great
Yeah,
voice.
yeah, that's right.
You
Yeah,
know? And he was younger and he wasn't as portly then.
and he wasn't wheelchair bound at that point. Then.
No, no. And he did a lot of that, and he was always at the fedora, you know, with a mustache coming up and going.
Yeah.
You want what?
He filmed noir stuff. He did.
Yeah. He was countless ones of those.
Yeah.
Always, really good actor. And then he went on to do Gunsmoke on the radio.
Oh yeah.
Well, seeing as how this is a horror program,
Yes.
one of Cassavetes, I thought was a really good role, was the villain he played in The Fury,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is hardly anybody knows about that film.
That's like fire, don't they? Can they?
Well, they have telekinetic powers and they
It was
can.
Barrymore. Drew Barrymore.
Yeah,
Was it?
no, it was Amy,
Firestar, that was
Amy Irving.
Yeah.
And
Is it the one the roller coaster goes off or something? And she does mind power and the roller coaster flies off the tracks.
I'm trying to remember.
I think that's
a
the same
girl
one,
gets pushed through a windshield,
Yeah.
but they kill somebody and they're in the air, spinning, and blood is just flying.
Jeez, yeah.
That sounds like Final Destination.
Well, in a way.
Yeah.
Well, Cassavetes wasn't even Rosemary's Baby though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the big one, and all his, killing of a Chinese bookie and all of these things.
Yeah.
Always really opening night. All
Yeah,
of these
yeah.
Dirty Dozen.
That's true. Yeah.
And a real rebel filmmaker too.
Yeah, and all his biker stuff too. He used to do he did
These ones kind of the wild ones, or which ones, Wild Angels, or that kind of stuff.
yeah. But I
Pray
thought,
for the Wildcats.
That's right. Yeah, that was a real. I like that.
if you're talking about horror pictures, Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
He still had that wired, frantic. Hey, you want to come on?
Yeah, frenetic sort of.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I he could probably be, but I don't think there's anybody right now. They'd have to be people today for series have to be too pretty.
Yeah.
Like you look at a series like Lucifer.
Yeah.
Like Darren McGavin is Lucifer.
Yeah.
No, it's not
Yeah, it's
really
right,
going to happen.
Yeah.
Conrad is Lucifer.
That's right.
There's a memory that comes from Cannon, where Frank Cannon sits down at a truck stop.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Are your burgers good here?" She goes, "They're very good." He goes, "I'll have 4." For some reason, that's the biggest memory I have of Frank Cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I won't bore you with my memories of BJ and the Bear. But we never take shit seriously.
Or the Banana Splits.
Yeah, the Banana Splits. That's right.
Can you name them all?
No.
Fleagle was one.
Snorky, Fleagle.
Yeah.
Okay, audience, email it. Snorky and Fleagle.
Yeah. Open the phone lines.
What
There.
Open the phone lines.
What about
First one in.
That's right.
Sigmund and the Sea Monster.
Segment. Yeah. What was the one that was prior to H.R. Puffin stuff about hats?
Was that it? That's
Was
another
Charles
Croft
Nelson
one.
Riley?
Croft one or something.
Yeah. And it was Charles Nelson Riley, and it was this weird world with
I just thought of
remember that
Harrigan.
Harrigan.
Remember that
Do you remember Harrigan? I don't know if you guys got that out here.
No, I don't
CTV. It was I forget his name. He was a Canadian actor, and he played this leprechaun called Harrigan, and they made him small and everything. He was running around the set.
I don't remember that one. I don't think I
It was
remember.
about the same time as Hilarious House of Friedstein.
Yeah.
Trouble with Tracy.
Yeah.
Hey, Trouble with Tracy.
Girl from Trouble with Tracy.
What was that space one that was done out here? Pure Delay.
Star Lost.
The
Yeah,
Star Lost.
yeah.
Oh.
That was pretty hot. Wasn't that James Cameron's first shows?
No, actually, it was written by.
He might have been.
That was based on an idea by Harlan Ellison.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Harlan Ellison was so disgusted by it,
Yeah.
he actually removed his name, which was his right to do. So if you ever watch The Star Lost, you'll see that it was created by Cordwainer Bird, which is his pseudonym.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Real fuck you to the producers. Well, I mean, come on, this is CTV.
Yeah.
I remember Walter Koenig going on there as a guest star.
Was
It's
he?
like,
Oh, yeah.
it was just.
We're also dealing at that time too on TV too. You had Battlestar Galactica, the original one.
Yeah.
Galactica 80.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All of these.
Mhm.
Yeah.
these type of things that are going on, and hey, we tried.
Yeah, well, a lot of Americans won't even know what the hell we're talking about.
No.
That's something to look up. I'm sure it's
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
available on the net.
Yeah. But House of Frankenstein was pretty funny, though.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
It's Billy Van.
Billy
Yeah.
Van.
Yeah.
Because they really only had about 3 or 4 actors in the whole show, didn't they?
Well, there was Igor, Billy Van. He played the librarian as well.
Yeah.
Did he also play the Wolfman?
Yeah, no, he's a different actor. The guy who played Igor. No, was it Igor who played? Because the guy who played Igor played the Wolfman, didn't
I don't think
Is
so.
Don
'Cause
Herron in that too, or something?
Don Herron might have been.
he? No, Don Herring was.
But no, I think Igor would have been a little too stout to be the...
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, no, I think it was Billy Van in that makeup.
Or the
That wolf.
the giant friendly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The friendly giant?
Yeah.
Okay, now Americans are lost. Okay.
Yeah, they're lost right now.
Might as well mention Shea Helene.
Yeah, hey, Shea Helene. Yeah, and Shea Helene. Oh my goodness.
Shea Helene was a program that taught Canadian youth French.
Yes.
Tabernac.
Yeah.
What about that?
Now we've
that
lost the
horror
French
kid
audience.
pedophile show? Uncle Bobby?
Oh, Uncle
Oh,
Bobby. Oh, and Bimbo, the birthday clown that was on
that's
there.
right, yeah.
Bimbo, Bimbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Bobby was this Canadian program that had this old guy who looked kind of like Mr. Grimswald on...
He had big sideburns, didn't he? Like really big sideburns.
No, he had that gray hair that was all combed back.
Oh, maybe come back, yeah.
And he always wore that kind of old man sweater.
Yeah.
And he looked like the uncle that is waiting for you in the tool shed. And he was our kids program along with Dale Harney, the magician.
Yeah.
But no, it's Uncle Bobby.
We're having a lot of fun in the studio today. We hope you are having a lot of fun at home. We'd like you to be happy. We've got a birthday picker, and here she is. I'm going to show you the words on the hat. There they are, birthday picker. And it's Darlene, and Darlene is Bunny's babysitter, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Take very good care of him.
Oh, of course you do. Thank goodness you do, because Bunny is along today to read the Bunny books. There's the brolly, hanging on the hook. Do you know what to shout when I knock the door?
Open up, Bimbo, please.
Come on out, Bimbo, please.
Ah, we get the words right.
Yeah. Oh, come on out, Bimbo. And you can all shout with Darlene. Go!
Come on out, Bimbo, please.
Come on then, baby. You can do it. Here's an introduction just for Bimbo. Introducing Bimbo, the birthday clown, and son of Happy.
Bimbo, Bimbo, I'm the birthday clown, Bimbo, Bimbo, here on Uncle Bobby's show, Bimbo, Bimbo, I would like to say, to you and you, a happy birthday. Happy birthday, boys and girls.
There's Bimbo, the birthday clown, and Darlene is going to pick a letter out of the birthday pocket. It could be yours, I do hope it is. We're going to meet Birthday Bunny and Birthday Bunny's friend who are coming up out of the tunnel, and they're going to give me the message, which is have a happy day, even if you didn't have a birthday. Big Daddy comes down from the sky. Darling,
Oh, there he is.
the big boy. And Mrs. Happy, Henrietta, passing over.
Oh, she's looking as lovely as usual.
As usual. And we've got Wilson, Keppel and Betty, the triplets, and Betty is the one in the middle. Are you ready to kick, Darlene? Sure. Okay, a 1, a 2, a 3, and a... Happy birthday. Sing, Darlene.
Me?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oh,
It is happy.
Happy
Sing it happy.
birthday to you.
And kisses the missus. On the ear. As usual.
Happy
He loves
birthday, dear Bobby
Once more.
Happy
Don't forget to kiss Mummy today.
birthday to
And don't forget to kick. Happy birthday to you. You want to blow very hard.
1, 2, 3.
Away you go.
And
Here. Goodbye. We've got Darlene passing over, and she's going to close her eyes and shout, fanfare, please.
Fanfare, please.
Okay, there's the fanfare. Close your eyes, darling. Out comes a letter. The letter is a long, oblong, white one, okay? And it's beautifully done to tell us that Janet Huff of Pickering, Ontario, is 5 years old. Abracadabra, abracades. Here's Bimbo with the...
on
Captain
there.
Kangaroo.
Well, but he wasn't vaguely pedophile.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I know.
Don't tell me he was getting it on with Mr. Green Jeans.
No. I'm just saying. These are all the things that people grew up, with Mr. Green Jeans and
Now what do you have today? Teletubbies.
the dancing
Well, that's
bear.
pretty old though, Jason.
And the first black guy, one of the first black guys to introduce him, Mr. Baxter, who come in and talk to kids. Boy, we're off.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Hello, children. Oh, that's a different one.
Real back.
Boy, we got off topic on that.
Well, we do have a question here, and let's get to that. Hello, my ghoulish fellows. Okay. Question 1. What's your thoughts of whoring? What's your thoughts on what does it say? Season.
It's written in.
I'm tongue twisted.
Hello, my ghoulish fellows. Salutations from your fiendishly neighborhood boogeyman. I didn't write this. This is what's honestly coming here. Question 1. What's your thoughts of horror foreign films becoming Americanized? Does it lose the original majestic of the macabre? Should we deal with that one first? Yes,
let's deal with that. Yeah. Okay.
He wins the poster.
No.
Yes, and you would. Yeah.
But we won't tell you what the poster is.
That's right.
And that's from Martin. Thank you, Martin.
Yes.
All right. Well, I don't know. I've never seen a foreign film get remade in America that I thought was worth a shit. There.
Next question, please. Well, there's the right one, and the right, and
that would be kind of an exception.
Yeah,
that was kind of the reverse, though. That really wasn't it, because the first one I think was Swedish or Finnish, and then
they've got
Hammer remade it.
Yeah,
and then so it's not really North Americanized. It's done in the UK.
Yeah.
I just think most remakes aren't very good.
Yeah.
I've never seen one that I really liked, a really good foreign film, get remade, except Martyrs. Martyrs should never have been remade.
No.
What was it? Martyrs? That's Canadian.
Yeah.
The
French-Canadian co-production.
Yeah.
And it didn't need a remake.
Yeah.
In fact, the remake was just inferior in every way.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question from me for a person in the industry. Why do you think they remake them?
Because they're running out of ideas.
And
sometimes they don't. I don't know.
Does somebody come up and say,
ideas.
we can redo this story? And
well, they already got it. If they're going to do a feature or something, they've already got a built-in audience. Yeah. So they want to put bums in the seats, so they just remake it. They know people will listen to the sequel.
Yeah.
Like Psycho was horrible. But I think it's just to see that. I mean, films get recycled all the time. They're always getting remade all the time. So,
yeah, Hollywood's filled with that. And you make it 3 or 4 times. In the silent era, you make a sound version of it. And then into the 50s, you make a color version of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but I don't think that the American Godzilla films hold a candle to the Japanese.
No.
You mean Mecha Godzilla? All of these?
Yes.
Well,
Godzilla films are what they are.
And Biolanta and everything, and all of these don't. Well, how many North American? I'm going to discount the first one with
Lauren Green.
Perry Mason, Raymond
Burr.
Yeah, I'm going to discount that because I'm standing here and I'm watching him wreck the building, and it's horrible.
Oh yeah, sorry. What about all the Asian films that are remade? Like what's the other ones called? Like Ring and all that. But they're all the same director, isn't it?
Well, because a lot of times, the director will come in and redirect his own film. Which what's the point?
Yeah.
Bigger budget.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you miss the nuance.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I don't care if it's I don't mind subtitles. I prefer if it's dubbed.
Yeah.
But it's there's something about just watching it in its original language. Like there's one called Wither that I keep mentioning because I love it, and it's Swedish. And I love it. If they remade it, well, it's just a ripoff of the living.
For common sense.
Yeah.
It's a remake. It's really a ripoff of The Evil Dead. It really is what it
Yeah.
is. But it's so well done. But I mean, if they tried to do it here, I guess probably Sam Raimi'd be all over them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like they're remaking a lot of Argento films.
yeah, they're starting.
Like Suspiria right now is going to be remade. Now it's just,
That's gonna be. Is he gonna do it, or is he gonna do it in the States?
I haven't heard. I don't think it's.
Because I thought it was gonna have bigger stars in it or something.
And one of the well, does that make a movie?
No, but that's But then it gets people to go see it.
Puts bums in it.
But we've had this argument before. Is there anybody that can open a movie these days? Just because Matthew McConaughey's in something doesn't mean it's going to open well.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep doesn't mean it's
No.
going to open well.
No. There's no guarantee now.
That's because I think audiences have changed.
Yeah.
They don't go to see. You don't go to see a John Wayne picture. Just as an example, you went to see a John Wayne picture.
Yeah.
It superseded the title.
Yeah, or an Elvis movie.
An Elvis movie or something.
Well, Stan
who
Lee
do you
probably,
see now?
Stan Lee makes. I mean, all his if it's got Stan Lee connected to it, Marvel.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a superhero
the
film.
superhero now, that's what's all happening now.
Yeah, I mean, basically, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. I mean, you go out and make a nice little piece of life film.
Yeah.
That actually, teaches you something about life.
Yeah.
Whether it be a low key rom-com or whatever.
Yeah.
Where's the box office coming from?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's another Bridges of Madison County or something.
Yeah.
It's not going to put the bums in the seats.
Yeah.
You have to go to art houses.
That's
and
right.
art houses are becoming scant.
Houses.
Yeah, I mean they built basically houses.
It's not a horror picture, but it has supernatural overtones. Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I guess fantasy.
Yeah.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
And
Star
that made a
Wars.
pile of dope.
Yeah.
And it went into folklore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Particularly with
Well,
baseball.
made Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
It allowed him to do the Postman.
Now he's been replaced by the email man.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of foreign films that have actually been remade that are any good. They don't even remake their own films good.
No.
There's a few. And I will say there's a scant few. And I thought of one the other day that I thought we'd have to mention because it was actually good.
Yeah.
And it just eludes me at the moment.
Yeah.
But as far as foreign films go, I prefer, if somebody went and started remaking like Fulci's Zombie.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised nobody has.
Does yeah.
It's it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
Because the effects back then, for what they were interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right. Yeah.
If you wanted to remake Beyond or something like that, it wouldn't be the same. It just wouldn't be the same.
No. Yeah.
So, there's no, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that, there's ever been anything that's really been done justice. The odd film that will match, its foreign counterpart.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any that, I mean, I really don't see the point.
Brotherhood of the Wolf. We talked about that.
Yes, but it's a French film. If the Americans try to remake it right now, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
They'd Americanize it.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight against America.
Yeah.
But there'd have to be, how do we make this play well to the Chinese and the millennials?
Yeah.
So you'd have that problem.
Yeah.
So the script would be massively rewritten.
Yeah.
Instead of making it in France during that time period, could we maybe make it in the future? No.
Yeah.
It's there's certain things that just shouldn't be remade.
Yeah.
It'd be like if Poland wanted to remake Enter the Dragon.
Right.
Well, what's the point? It's really. I mean, it's pointless.
Yeah. I know there's one remake. Again, it's a non-horror picture. Was somebody remade Ben-Hur?
Oh yeah, that's Charles Nelson's son, wasn't it?
I have it on my PVR because it was on a network,
Yeah.
and I haven't watched it, but it's got the last name of the actor is Hawkins.
Oh, okay.
And Jack Hawkins was in the original
Oh, okay.
picture.
Yeah.
He made Ben-Hur, Charlton Heston's character, his son, when they got
Okay.
to Rome.
Oh, yeah?
Saved him on the ship,
Huh.
on the slave ship. And I'm wondering if that's a relation to
Yeah.
Jack Hawkins. Jack Hawkins'
Yeah.
kid.
Could
Well, he
very
wouldn't
well
be a kid
be.
now. He wouldn't be a kid now. He'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
a man
Mhm.
now. And I haven't watched it. Apparently, it was released in the theater. It has Morgan Freeman in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it was released in the theater and disappeared.
Much like the remake of The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
Boy, that didn't. There's. You can't remake that film.
No. Well, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
It was based on that, so.
Yeah, yeah.
So they did manage to do that right, but that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a horror film.
Yeah, yeah.
I do think that remakes sometimes are a good thing.
What about remakes like of Don't Be Afraid of the Dark? Del Toro did the 70s film.
I don't mind if it's a film that if it brings that story to the attention of a
Yeah.
younger audience.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say we got ambitious and wanted to remake Play Misty for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what millennial has ever seen
Yeah, well,
Play
it's-
Misty
yeah,
for?
that's right, yeah.
And it's a scary little tale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Of course, we gore it up.
Yeah, yeah.
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 Maybe, penises were
Yes.
made of baguettes and,
That's right.
But, sometimes if it brings an audience in,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But don't remake Friday the 13th. Don't don't reimagine
Yeah,
it.
but
Don't call it a
remake Friday the
prequel.
13th.
Well, the prequel and it's a prequel here, it's a prequel
Yeah, yeah.
there, and
Well,
it's
Texas Chainsaw. I was surprised how many times they did Texas Chainsaw Massacre now. I don't even know how many times it is now.
6, I think.
Well, it was even Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but
That
done,
was
yeah.
redone.
Yeah.
And
it's actually been redone 4 or 5 times
yeah, and
because it's public domain.
I was going through, and I'm still doing it right now. There's a lovely book by an author called Kim Newman, called Nightmare Movies. And everything. I recommend it
Yeah.
for people in the audience.
Yeah.
And it's $20 for an ebook or something
Yeah.
like that. It's really good. It starts horror from the '60s onward,
Yeah.
and he sets this up. There's a lovely chapter on George Romero, and he said that Romero actually sanctioned the colorization
Yeah.
of Night of the Living Dead
Well, yeah.
simply because of the fact that he wanted the people to make money off it. Off first. He said,
Yeah.
you made no money off the original.
Yeah, yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was nothing. And he was so apparently surprised. There's probably
Yeah.
viewers that this is their film and
Yeah.
everything, and they know more about it than I do.
Yeah.
But according to Mr. Newman on this, he said that they made no money on it, and he was so surprised when he got invited to art festivals and presented at Cannes film festivals and these kind of things.
Yeah.
And it gradually built and everything up. And that's when he sanctioned that, and he also gave him money to do his other
Things are crazies. And all that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Why would you remake something like that?
Well, because you know why? Because they can make money on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
public domain. You don't
Yeah.
have to pay anybody the rights.
Well,
And
the,
it's-
the
it's-
remake of Night of the Living Dead was pretty good with Tony Todd.
That
Actually,
that was the only yes. It was
Yeah.
a very and that's one that actually stands. Those are the
Works.
two that I consider to be Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Not Night of the Living Dead 3D. Not even the producer's cut.
Yeah.
Not. There's. I've seen 7
Jeez.
remakes of Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah.
and each one gets successively worse.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well,
same with
right
Dawn.
from
Kind of-
on the top scale, you've got
Yeah.
Savini's, with
Yeah.
Patricia Tallman.
Yeah.
At the bottom, you've got like some of the worst indie stuff, and it's just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, yeah.
But is that a remake of the actual film Night of the Living Dead, or is it a remake, or not a remake, a redoing of the genre? Like the genre, this is the zombie genre,
Yeah.
and we're going to put this same style of character into this same situation, but we're going to have different outcomes.
Well, it was pretty
It's
close.
not like
wasn't it?
no. They're
It's pretty-
usually
it's
on every
pretty
one of
page
them.
per
Ben
page.
dies at the end,
Yeah, it's
and
pretty page per page. And
yeah,
that's,
it's
Yeah.
pretty page for page
Yeah.
because
And-
if you deviate too far from it, then you're going to alienate
Yeah.
fans. They're going to
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
on you.
Yeah,
So
Because I kept thinking of the Return of the Living Dead.
No, that's
Those
entirely
like parodies,
different.
or
That was a parody, and that
Yeah.
was well.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was
well
well
done.
done too.
Yeah, very good film.
The barking dog, the barking half dog.
No, it's a very good film. And but when it comes down to Romero's, like what are they remaking right now? They're remaking Dawn of the Dead.
Again, yeah.
No, Day of the Dead. I'm sorry, Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
And of course, the focus has changed. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Oh, okay. How can we modernize it? Well, that's,
Yeah, yeah.
How do you modernize it? When was it shot? It was 80s, right?
Yeah.
So how do you
Well, yeah, but I mean, it takes place in that military bunker
Yeah.
and that kind of thing, and of course, the tendency today would be, well, the lead has to be female, or this has to be this.
Yeah.
You have to try to get into that demographic.
But you're just trying to change the demographics.
So they're really quite unnecessary. I just remake something from the past. Like I want to remake Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even mind remaking Play Misty for him.
Yeah. Those are probably pretty heavily covered, though. I mean, pretty copyrighted.
Now you'd still have to deal with Clint.
Yeah. He owns most of that. Yeah.
Clint would get his son to play the lead.
His son would come down here
and play the lead.
What about the Beguiled or something?
They already
like
remade the Beguiled, though.
Yeah.
Just came out. I don't know if it's any good, but the
sometimes
original
they
was pretty
retitle
good.
them too.
Oh, they
change title too.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised because they did the I never seen the remake of Beguiled because I really liked the first one. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But then what would a Civil War veteran play now?
That's right.
Yeah.
People watching, what's a Civil War?
Yeah. That's what's going on now. Oh, did I say that?
There's no Avengers in here.
That's right.
I know they tried. If you're looking at remakes too, they tried on television. with remaking Night Stalker.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe they did. Yeah.
Yeah. They had there was an Irish guy in it or something, and so it got as far as it was some story that the backstory was that he was trying to find his wife had been abducted.
Well, that's a Liam Neeson film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every Liam Neeson film is.
This was like a 5. It was on for like 6 shows or 8 shows or something like that. But it was the Night Stalker. He was the paranormal guy, and it was on TV. Yeah, that was a Fox thing, I think it was.
I remember that. I never heard anything about it.
Yeah, it disappeared.
Yeah, much like the new 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one saw it.
What was that? Sleepy Hollow. That one on television. It might not be available.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did the TV one. Yeah, that's right.
Whoever's watching this might not be available in your area. That disappeared.
Yeah.
So many of them.
Yeah.
I'm surprised some of them last as long as they do. Really, I don't know a single person who watches Lucifer. Not one.
No.
Not a single.
What's that show called?
Lucifer.
It's based on a comic though, so it does have a certain following on it. There's that.
You follow the Arrowverse?
No, I don't follow.
You just watch Supergirl?
Yes, I do.
Well, you must watch the crossovers.
I'm a DC. I don't. I'll have to say that there's too many of them on, and honestly, if I didn't have to work, and do other things, I would be able to see all these. I used to watch Flash. I used to watch Gotham. I never did, some of the other DC stuff because I have to.
What is it? The Defenders or what is it?
The Defenders, yeah.
Or whatever that show is.
Yeah, Legion of Superheroes or something. Yeah. No, that's the Justice League. But
apparently this year, I think I read it on Facebook, so it must be true. John Constantine is going to be a regular on the show. Yeah. So the character of Constantine, I guess that kind of rules out. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be any more movies, but
well, there was Preacher too, the series.
It's still going.
I don't follow that.
Yeah, well, a lot of the graphic novels are quite interesting.
Yeah, like there's that's remakes because they take, in a sense, it is because you take a comic.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's an adaptation.
And then they take that and then they bring it out and they try to do it. One of the most effective movies to do that was Dick Tracy. had the comic book colors.
The originals,
Warren Beatty,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
who Dustin Hoffman as Mumbles.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
You know?
They didn't do my favorite villain. So,
No.
no, I was one
Flat
of
Top?
no scrotum face.
So
But,
we'll be back. We were sort of off a little bit on the horror pictures.
Yeah.
There on the remakes. And
okay, well, CBS right now, they're going to redo The Stand, Stephen King's The Stand, in 10 parts.
Yeah.
Necessary?
10 parts.
Well, it's my favorite King novel. I mean, it's vast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of character development that, you know, and I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that miniseries, The Stand.
Yeah. How many parts was that miniseries?
Oh, I think it was...
It's like 2 or something?
I think it was 3, 2 hours. It's a 6-hour event, I think.
Yeah.
But I thought the guy who played Randall Flagg was perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, these days you'd modernize it instead of, no Molly Ringwald, you'd modernize it that way, but,
Maybe
Rob Lowe could still play the same character. He hasn't aged.
Yeah. Maybe you stretch it out because you can make more money, sell to the advertisers.
Yeah. Well, see, if you look at the unexpurgated version of The Stand, I mean, that thing is this fucking hardcover.
Yeah.
I mean, there's whole bits with the trash can man that were never filmed. It's large in scope. I would think that I would do it as, if I had my way, I would do it as 3 10-episode seasons. So you do it over 30 hours.
Right.
If it was up to me.
Well, speaking from maybe a writing point of view, sometimes there's reasons why those things are not filmed. And I'm sure you've seen it too.
Yeah.
From your end of things.
Well, if you're given 6 hours,
there's reason.
there's
a reason like somebody is dribbled off, into this tangent that. Why am I going to spend 4.5 mil to show this sequence that isn't going to be around and makes no sense to me?
Like The Shining and the hedge
that's why we
creatures.
have editing.
Yeah.
And to make stories tight and everything.
Well, sometimes they don't do it because they can't. Technology's not there. 'Cause remember when they did The Shining, the first one, they had all the hedge creatures coming to life, and then the TV show, I think they had the hedge creatures in, didn't they? They had CG stuff.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't miss it in the movie. I mean, we're on the hedge creatures.
No. And I preferred the made-for-TV.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah,
In a way.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Danny Torrance better. That little kid just sat there with his mouth wide open.
Yeah.
The whole film.
Yeah.
So then we never talked really about it.
Yeah.
The pronoun in the basement.
Yeah.
The telefilm, the one that was it last year or something?
Well, I mean, the first one was a Canadian produced, shot here anyway, movie, and Tim Curry did a very good job as Pennywise.
Yeah.
If you look at the contrast between the two, I was a little concerned about the Pennywise in the new one, but I was actually quite impressed. They did the children's part as much as it had to be done. So it's a little different take, but it's fine. And again, it's reintroducing King to a newer audience today.
Is that a remake then that works?
I liked it. I liked it. Yeah, and is it superior? Who knows?
Yeah.
That's I mean, when we talk about this shit, most of it's subjective anyway. I mean, there's going to be somebody out there who goes and watches Easter Bunny Bloodbath and thinks it's the greatest fucking thing they've ever seen.
That's why
film criticism is subjective.
Yeah, we don't put filmmakers down or people that get stuff shown. We just throw out an opinion, and it's the way we feel, and you can take it or just take it as a grain of salt or a grain of whatever it is you take, and see how it fits.
The It film, because it was made for the cinema, is gory.
Yeah.
What about sequel?
I think it.
What about sequels?
Well, I mean, part 2 is coming.
So is it part 2? It's.
Yeah, they do the adult years now.
It's.
Yeah, It part 2.
It's.
It. Yeah.
The pronoun returns.
Yeah. It too. Brute. Okay.
No,
Well, we're going to take a short break at this
yes,
point,
we have another
and
question too.
we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So I had the good fortune of having Dave work on Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Mania, did all the practical effects. What do you remember? What was the thing that you remember most about the shoot?
What, the people or
Well, anything. Just was.
It was pretty enthusiastic. It was one of the first shows I worked on. People were really, really into the project because of Herschel. I mean, he was kind of the driving force behind most people wanted to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I remember most.
I remember lunches and stuff. We were sitting in I think it was an Irish community hall one day, and everybody's eating their lunch, and Herschel's holding court and telling Hollywood stories and stuff. And special effects wise, there's usually two things people make mention of: the fall, and you've brought along the head that we'll look at here in a minute, and the scissors.
Well, that's right, the scissors.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we can probably share a little bit about that. What I remember about the fall, and it's in segment 2, where our protagonist falls from a building and hits the ground. We were only 9 stories up.
Yeah, only though.
Only, yeah. Well, yeah. You were a little bit.
Well, I didn't get close to the edge. And that's,
no, I thought it was you and I who threw it off.
No, you, Chris.
Chris Peterson.
Chris Peterson, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no ropes or tethers or any windy day.
Well, I mean, the first AD wanted me to be tethered.
Yeah, he's tethered up. Yeah.
And I said, "Whoa, no, I'm not going to be fucking tethered."
Yeah.
I said, "You're worried that I might fall off the building, somehow survive."
Yeah.
And if I do, I'm going to sue myself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm not wearing a fucking tether.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I arrive on set, and I've got a cow's liver. And I'm on the ground. Dave and it was you and Ashley.
Ashley was up there. Yeah, Ashley.
Yeah, and you had the dummy.
The dummy up there. Yeah.
And I had an X-Acto knife, and I was cutting apart the liver.
Yeah.
And giving the kids around, some of the crew, showing them, this is a ventricle. This is the main. So I drop that into a baggie and take it upstairs. Take the elevator and then up the stairs.
Yeah.
And when I open up the door to go out there, there's Dave, and he's got a staple gun, and he's stapling a wig to the dummy's head. And all I could think of was, that doesn't look so much like Sonia DeLeo as
That's
it does
right, yeah.
Robert Plant.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. That was his cameo in the film, was it Robert Plant?
Yeah, starring Robert Plant
That's
as
right, yeah.
stand-in for Mr. Leo.
Well, we were pretty lucky in that scene because we didn't know how it was going to end up. Like, we had one take at it, and that was it. Remember? And it just happened. It couldn't have been better the way it hit.
Well,
That was pretty lucky.
there was that corner.
Yeah.
And I told the director, I said, Mel, it's going to hit
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
No, I think we should go a little bit over to this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had a 3-camera setup. And so yeah, I brought up the guts, and you put them in
Yeah,
there, and you got everything.
Yeah.
Got her all dressed up and everything, and then Chris Peterson and I dropped it,
Yeah, yeah.
and it actually landed quite perfectly.
Landed right in the head, too.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted. We wanted to land
Yeah, and it landed in frame, which
Yeah,
is nice.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I mean that was
Yeah.
fun.
That was a good one, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a dream come
Yeah.
true, doing a gore effect in a Herschel
Yeah.
Gordon Lewis movie. The scissors.
Yeah.
Tell us what you had to do for that.
We just cast Catherine's, the actress's, stomach, and then we just made I think we did silicone. And then James, you played the killer. Didn't you use it? You were the guy who did
Yeah, I was the guy who did the slicing.
Yeah, because only half of the torso, just half, and then then you pushed all the intestines through or something.
Yeah, we had the...
Yeah.
The way that worked was... I didn't even know why I was doing this.
Yeah.
But I would walk around and I would look through the camera, see where it was.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it and went, okay, it's got to go here and here. So you've got this torso.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I had a felt pen and I went here, here,
Yeah.
and I said, okay. So got to place and those scissors were this long.
big, yeah,
That was
yeah,
a real pair of scissors. So the whole idea was to poke it through
Yeah.
and snip.
Yeah.
So I did that,
Yeah.
and then I had a bucket of guts.
Yeah.
So I was pushing it through.
Yeah.
And one take we couldn't use
Yeah.
was there was a piece of intestine that came out of the opening. It looked like a hard dick.
I thought that was just you.
No, that was me, yeah. The one shot I wanted to get and I didn't
Yeah.
was I've got the gloves on, Gordo's
Yeah.
gloves, and I'm pushing it through.
Yeah.
And I was going to turn my hand and go and wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's looking down as she's
Yeah.
dying and
Yeah. Yeah.
being waved at.
Yeah.
Never got that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What did you use for guts?
We used sausage casings full of gelatin, and then you had real guts there. Well, no, there was some real guts, wasn't there, or not?
Yeah, there was
maybe
some
foam
more.
latex
There was
pieces
real
and
organs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one long intestine there was sheep's guts filled of gelatin, I think, and that sort of. It actually looks pretty good on film. I'm surprised how well it looked on film.
We're giving away your secrets.
That's right. Yeah. Another good effect you never talked about was that Roger gets his legs run over, and then that van crashes into that dummy of Roger. That was pretty. It was pretty sickening, actually. Everybody's kind of. It's like when you do effect, and then there's a gasp at the end. Like it's almost a vacuum gasp in that, because it looked pretty gross when that head flew.
Oh, yeah.
Smashed in, and then Chris was driving it again. He was driving that vehicle, and he almost hit another vehicle or something on the other side of the street.
Camera A,
Yeah.
camera B.
Yeah.
Where Roger's sitting, as you're driving, there's no straight through road.
Yeah.
So you literally have to veer to the left and down a road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, my thoughts on this were I wanted it to be like in The Devil's Rejects, where the girl escapes and she's running and the semi
You
takes
just
her.
quick cut. Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is what we want to see.
Yeah.
So I walked over to Chris, who's getting ready. He's got
Yeah.
his walkie-talkie, and I said, I want you to hit that thing with speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really want you to hit it.
Yeah,
I said, I
playground
want
zone
you.
was.
Yeah.
It was a
And
playground.
it was a playground zone. Yeah, guerrilla filmmaking. So when he did it, he was moving,
Yeah, he was pretty fast. Yeah.
and he barely made it around that little corner.
Yeah, he barely. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, what's on the corner but my car?
Yeah,
so
your
he
car.
would have ended up hitting my
My
car.
car, yeah.
Do you remember how long it took us to get that dummy off the sidewalk?
It was pretty ingrained in the bone. Yes.
It was literally like stuck to the tarmac.
Well, the head was made out of wax, so it probably melted almost there.
But what did you have stuffed in there?
We slushed wax inside this head mold I had, and then I put in plaster to make bone fractures, and then I think we just stuffed it full of gelatin, like colored gelatin inside there.
So basically just red.
But it was pretty close to what it probably might look like because we had brain fragments and everything, and it popped when he hit, and then it kind of just exploded. Oh, yeah. Well, same with the girl falling. We did the same technique with the girl falling off the building and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm. The funny thing about that is like I say, we had a 3-camera setup.
Yeah.
And when you watch the raw footage, on each camera you can hear, as soon as the body hits, you hear the cameraman go, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Or "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Like freaking them out. And it was kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know because I was up on top, but they were saying it looked pretty.
Yeah, it looked pretty. I was not far away. It looked pretty good. It was glory. But sometimes those simple effects sometimes work the best.
And a lot of people thought that was CGI.
Was it? No. There was no CGI.
No CGI in there. No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
We decided that we wanted to do an homage to Scanners, the scene where the head explodes. And in Scanners, it was done with a shotgun.
Yeah.
So naturally we thought, well, let's shotgun a head.
Yeah.
Can you take us through the process there?
Yeah, I wasn't really connected with that. Well, a good friend of mine and our excellent makeup artist, Stacy Wagner, had a head cast of G Hunter?
G Hunter.
Yeah, his head cast, and so we used that. And Stacy, I think he made it out of wax too. We did all wax things, and he was the one who happened to have that head cast. So we cast him after we found we had the head cast, and we cast G Hunter in the film, so that he can get his head blown apart and stuff. And so we took that out to a farm, and we shot it with that shotgun. I remember that because. But we had the shotgun behind its head, just like the exact same way we did in Scanners. Dick Smith did in Scanners. And the problem is that when you shot up like that, we didn't know I don't know where those pellets would ended up because they were up in the sky.
Well, we aimed quite high.
Pretty high, yeah. So it was a bit tricky to do. We got one of the, who was AD? Her was there a grandfather?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had shot. Cause we shot it on a farm.
Well, he wanted to do that.
He wanted to, yeah. Like we shot it on the farm and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good green screen it though. He had a green screen, remember?
Yes, I remember because I for the outdoors there I rented one, and I didn't realize how much that blood would splatter.
Yeah.
So I was literally cleaning the green screen.
Yeah.
I remember coming on set and you and Stacy were like little boys.
Yeah.
And Stacy said to me something along the lines of, "Oh, this is real old school Savini shit."
That's right, yeah.
You know?
Well, you gave the head to him, I think, didn't you? Or did I give it to him? We kept parts of it and we gave it to him.
I'm not sure.
No, I think we did. I grabbed what I could and I gave it back, and he was pretty excited about that.
Yeah,
He seemed excited.
I kept a lot of wardrobe, but actually the dummies and stuff, I have no idea. Like this is Sonia DeLeo dummy.
Yeah, what happened was that one that fell off the building, we threw it in the dumpster. Because it was so wrecked up. It was just PVC piping and everything. And
Did you do cool shit? Did you like wrap it in a blanket and roll it up and then duct tape it and make sure the blood was there and throw it into the dumpster?
That's right. I think we did that.
Lesson for people.
Yeah.
If you're going to shoot against a green screen with a shotgun, wrap the shotgun barrel in green tape.
Yeah.
It'll save you a lot of headaches. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah. Well, I was worried we were going to see his head behind there. Just because I remember I said, that head's going to disappear, but there's a bunch of stuff behind it. So and I thought you'd see top of this baseball cap or something. But we didn't see that, but you did see the gun, the barrel of the gun, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, only until you see him put it up.
Yeah.
And you see it go,
but
it's still there as the head's exploding. So of course you have to mask it up. Yeah. But that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that was because I put my iPhone down. It was it was kind of on a flatbed trailer.
Yeah.
So I put my iPhone down, pressed record, and got it in frame.
Yeah.
and got it.
Was that the one we used? Because we had a couple of cameras.
No.
Yeah.
And Daniel,
Yeah.
the DP, had it all figured out. Oh yes, well I know how to, the angle that it should be precisely. And when we would go to set it up, he goes, I forgot it at home.
Oh,
can you show me some footage?
Oh, yeah.
And luckily I had it on my phone.
Oh, no,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, well this should be good.
Yeah.
I hope so, dude.
Yeah. It's a one-off.
Yeah.
Lots of that stuff.
A lot, total one-off.
Yeah.
That's why I was so meticulous about getting the scissors through right.
Yeah. Because once you cut it,
well, I don't want to look like a sloppy killer, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Oops, it came out to the left or came out to the right. Yeah. So you brought along a prop.
Yeah. We did cast the actress with her head together, of course, because she couldn't do this. But we cast her and we poured it. We did a silicone of her head, and then we poured clay into it, split it in half, and then we just sculpted on the inside. And then we had to do another mold of that, which is a really 4-part mold, just to get it. And we poured it in silicone here, and then we painted it all up. And I looked at this all for anatomy books, like they're out there. And then we punched her hair in and all that kind of stuff.
So you have to punch each hair in individually.
Yeah, we'll see the hairline here. I think some of this was, but when you get towards the hairlines and all this stuff, you have to punch the hair in one hair at a time, or else it just looks like it's glued on. It just doesn't look too good.
Yeah, this looks pretty impressive with the teeth and and so this is anatomically correct.
Yeah, well, as close as we can get. I mean, it's not gored up and bloody. It just looks better.
There's even a pituitary gland.
Yeah, it seems to match up. We found actually, I think it was Damien Hirst art pieces. I think I worked with lots of that. So because artist had split some heads apart. It was Damien Hirst and that. So we more worked from that because it seemed like the most accurate pictures, and there's some X-ray half cuts and cut in half and everything and stuff like that. So it's probably most people haven't seen, but it was pretty accurate. We didn't veer too much off the real anatomy on that one.
So the night we shot, that was a tricky one because I was doing the katana.
Yeah.
And you were.
I was underneath there in that, and I had to puppeteer it underneath and stuff. So
you had a couple of rods to hold the head.
Yeah, like there's rods right through her, metal rods. That's why it's pretty stiff now, but because they're kind of glued down to this board, we had to bolt through the board because we had to have pretty solid on there. Well, it was actually silicone to the board, but she's all silicone. We had to punch eyebrow hairs and eyelashes and everything and stuff. So that was probably the most intricate effect you had in the whole show by far. It was the most work went into it.
So what was the? You said you wanted to have kind of a Rob Bottin effect.
Yeah, when it came apart, I kind of like always in the thing when one character's head split apart. So we were trying to go for that where it was kind of shaking a bit, and that's what we kind of wanted to go for and stuff like that. Kind of a tribute to Rob Bottin and the thing.
Well, that was interesting stuff because we'd pour it in here, and then I would hold the pieces and rub them together, and then.
Yeah. Well, we use this material to use for checking birthing cows, and that it's kind of a slime kind of stuff, and it's a powder you mix with water, and it sticks together and makes really stringy. So this was we had really tons of strings hanging in here and stuff, but you'd have to each cut you'd have to redress it and everything. We had lots of blood in there. We didn't put any blood lines in there because it was just, plus it was in a place we didn't want blood squirting in all over your room. So we didn't put any blood lines, but we had enough blood inside there. We just caked it inside, then we opened it up, and all these strings came loose. It was the same thing they used when they did the creature and the thing, when his head splits in half. Same materials inside there. So.
We have another question.
Go to the head of the class.
Okay, the question is, would you guys do a few episodes on the road, from dark, creepy taverns to haunted locations?
No.
And that's from Jeff.
Moving right along. I know in this show, seriously. Yeah, it would be interesting to do something like that, a location. We have one coming up, though.
Yes, we do. We
Yeah,
definitely
coming
do. At the end of the month here, we will be doing Sinister Inclinations live from the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo.
Yes.
So, in 90 minutes, and it'll be recorded. So, if you want to come, there's gonna be warning signs that say this is being recorded. If you don't want to be on YouTube, Vimeo, wherever, then you don't come because it's going to be shown.
Yep. Address your questions.
What?
Be part of the show.
Yeah. Last year when we appeared, we just made it an open forum. And the discussions were great. Everybody started to participate and get their views in, and it wasn't heated or anything, but it was nice civilized debate. So
Yeah, and it went by very fast too.
it does.
Like,
Almost as fast as this goes by.
It does. I don't mean people running out of the room either. I mean, like, it was literally, you were sitting there and all of a sudden, oh, it's done already, and they're giving you the wrap signal. Okay, this is good. This works.
Well, I do believe our next guest on our next episode is a bit of a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
So I would be up to going to a place that's known to be haunted and doing it.
You mean doing a show?
Yeah. No, I mean,
Well, you just used that phrase.
No, I'd be up for it.
Okay.
That sounds like a double entendre as well.
I'll be up for it. I wasn't going to bring up the bag of stuff, that mysteriously disappeared. So.
Well, I don't know. And the other thing I want to do is if you guys are doing a live performance, I'd like to come out and record that. And
yeah, we are.
You'll have to sign all the waivers and everything.
We will gladly sign the waivers, and the waivers may only be in my hands carrying the gear off after we're done the show. But yeah, I think we've got something in the very, very near future. So I don't know. It's not gonna. It might not. It'll happen probably during this time that it's shot, or the lag time, so we don't know yet. So, but 13 Strikes is in your heart.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention that if you've seen Blood Mania, the 4th episode, Gorgeous, it's Mr. Trainer's band that performs the songs. Cut Me Up and Gorgeous, the opening track to that piece. Anything you want to tell us about that?
No.
Could you play it right now if you...
No, I don't know if I could. No, I could play it.
That'd be kind of fun. You guys should do that one time.
Be behind you guys with all their amps behind you. You guys answering questions. We're playing the song really loud. James, what?
Well, no, it'd be nice, if you guys do a set somewhere. Just do it up.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get... we should do a show, all of us, with Forbidden Dimension.
That'd be a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom would do it.
Would he?
That's an excellent idea.
Why don't you get Tommy Bagley on here?
Why don't you get him on the show here? He'd probably do it.
Well, he knows horror.
Oh, yeah,
Well, he lives horror.
He actually doesn't live that far from me either. He's
Wow.
walking distance.
We'll be right back. We're going to go grab him.
If Tom's home. Knock on his door.
Hi, Tom.
That's an excellent guest for him.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
so we got lots of stuff.
We got lots of stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us this evening.
Yes.
Thank you to Dave Trainer for joining us here.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure, and I'm privy to the fact that Dave has this house that is the coolest house to be in.
Yeah.
It's
Don't tell him the address.
I won't tell him the address, but it's basically a sort of a 70s themed, you would say?
60s.
60s, 70s.
Yeah.
He's a Rat Pack kind of guy. You get to listen to the cool 60s music, and he's got a bar in his home that's like...
A bar. I got 3 bars. Well, I got one downstairs. And outside, I got Tiki Bar, too.
Tiki bar, yeah, Tiki bar, but he's got this room in his basement that's so cool.
Yeah.
And a little makeout room, like you would see. Every time I go to your place there, and we're down in that area, I always want to wear a tie on my head, like Peter Sellers on The Party.
Yeah, that's right.
And I expect bubbles to start rising and stuff like that. Really num-num.
Yeah.
But, no, there's this little area, and it's right out of the 60s. You walk up these stairs, and the whole room is a bed. I think that's cool.
It's on a Matt Helm asylum.
It's something like Matt Helm.
Yeah, it's a Matt Helm thing.
Yeah, except for the bed's not round.
Do you have somebody named Lovey Craves it?
I will next time.
Next time. Casting for Lovey Craves it. Send photos, too.
That's right. I don't know where that came from. That and Our Man Flint.
Those are great films.
Yeah. And Dave's house is whenever I see something like an old 60s ashtray or something, I go, okay, I'll buy it and give it to Dave.
That's right.
I think I gave you those Playboy girl
Penthouse,
cocktail
or something, yeah,
swizzlers. Yeah.
Yeah.
As they get colder, their little bikinis go away. It's so
Way that's
60s.
right.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you, Terry.
Nope.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thank
We'll be
you.
back soon.
There's no reason for alarm. Well, I didn't mean you any harm. Well, yeah, I did rough